and gentlemen, can history be changed? And no, I'm not talking about time travel or fiction. I'm talking about what gets printed in the textbooks and becomes a part of chronicles that are a reference point for generations to come. History that gets modified through ink, ideology, and institutional control, selectively narrated to suit certain agendas. Now, those politically convenient alterations are being undone. The new Class 8 Social Science textbook released by NCERT this week makes it clear. History as it was taught is history now. For example, it is almost a default thing to call Akbar the Great. No disclaimers. In the new textbook, his reign has been described as a blend of brutality and tolerance. The man whose name is etched on roads, landmarks, educational institutions, trains, the king who has an entire filmography to himself, all portraying him as a hero. Did you know he ordered the massacre of almost 30,000 civilians after the attack on Rajput fort of Chittorgarh? Or that he proudly proclaimed that his army's bloodthirsty sword erased Kafirs and destroyed temples across Hindustan? Akbar's own biographer, Abul Fazl, has quoted him as saying that he persecuted men into conformity with his faith. And what if I asked you about the jizya tax? Just a harmless tax on non-Muslims for protection, you would say. But the next generation would now know that it caused public humiliation and created financial and social incentive to convert to Islam, because that is what they will be taught from the ongoing academic session. This book, now released by the NCERT, is for use in the ongoing academic session and the first of the new NCERT books to introduce students to the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals. It also describes Babur as a brutal and ruthless conqueror, conquering and slaughtering entire population of cities, and Aurangzeb who destroyed temples and gurudwaras while pointing to many instances of religious intolerance during this period. Clearly, for decades, what found its way into school books wasn't always the complete truth. It was the convenient truth that you and I have been subjected to, sanitized, selectively curated, often edited to fit a political script. But now the script is being flipped, and those who find themselves on the wrong side of history are now crying foul.
ये तो उनका एजेंडा है और वो इतिहास बदलना चाहते हैं. इसको ये देश स्वीकार नहीं करेगा.
500 साल के पहले ये मुसलमानों ने क्या किया, यानी औरंगजेब ने क्या किया, वो आज क्या बोलने की बात है. यहाँ अभी लोगों को भड़काने का काम करना और बच्चों के ऊपर ये करना, गैर बातें उनके दिमाग में डालना, ये अल्टीमेटली इस देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं.
हम आरएसएस बीजेपी के लोगों से कहना चाहते हैं कि आप किताबें बदल सकते हो, इतिहास नहीं बदल सकते.
ये पूरा का पूरा जो निसाब है, ये एक खास मखसूस नजरिए के तहत किया गया है, और वो नजरिया जो है भगवाधारी नजरिया है. नए सिरे से नया इतिहास रचना ये ठीक बात नहीं है, और ये अन्याय है इतिहास के साथ.
For everyone who accuses the NCERT of trying to incite, I suggest a close reading of the new syllabus. Turn to page 20 of the Class 8 Social Science textbook. Right there in black and white is a clear caution. No one should be held responsible today for events of the past. The disclaimer exists there. Now, while this refers to atrocities in the Mughal era, the question is, who's responsible for decades of whitewashing of brutal chapters of our history?
If we are telling the truth to our future generation, they should know about the history of this country, that how this country has been tortured at the hands of Mughals, what kind of atrocities were done, how forced conversions were done, how Islamic raiders and Mughal being Islamic raider raided this country and looted the wealth, how Britishers did that. What's the harm if we are telling the truth? The question is why it was not told for the last 70 years. This is the question.
Encouraging honest engagement with history rather than selectivity, that is what the NCERT says is the aim of this course correction. But selectivity is the second nature of those bemoaning the revision. The Congress and its cohorts want Mughals unconditionally praised. But have you wondered why? Because the affinity for invaders stems out of love for votes. And that love is not unconditional. Congress, a party that has ties with Uddhav Sena in Maharashtra, allies with the IUML and the SDPI in Kerala and Karnataka, and is wooing Asaduddin Owaisi in Telangana, says Asaduddin Owaisi's party is communal when it comes to contesting polls with them in Bihar. Because division of votes is not a test that the Congress is willing to take. Listen in.
सांप्रदायिक एजेंडे वाली किसी भी पार्टी को कांग्रेस पार्टी साथ नहीं दे सकती है। हमेशा से हम लोगों का विचार रहा है और MIM लगातार पिछले दरवाजे से भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मदद करती रही है, तो उनके साथ जाने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं।
So ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question that we're asking on the news hour tonight, are votes Vipakshis only syllabus? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, National Spokesperson and Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha, representing the BJP. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author. Also joining the show tonight is Professor Anwar Pasha, National Spokesperson of the RJD. Waris Pathan, National Spokesperson of the AIMIM, today has a very worried look because he's not secular anymore. And he's been labelled as non-secular by the Congress party. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha, Congress leader. And Sanjay Jha, Akbar, not so great after all. Akbar, we all read about, he was a Mughal leader. Expansionism was their only agenda. But today, we want to know, why was he called the Great? Because expansionism, killing of Indians to expand their own kingdom, the Mughal Sultanate as it was called in India, clearly was an expansionist regime, and there were innocent Indians that were killed. Why was an adjective, the Great, written with the Akbar in the textbooks of your, of course, Congress, deciding that route that the country took? Why is it not more realistic to look at the NCERT books today, which has the brighter side of Akbar that is listed there, the fact that he did encourage culture of India, had interest in Indian classical music, but it also paints out the picture of what he was, a raider, a man who plundered, a man who destroyed temples, just like Babur and Humayun before him. So I want to ask you, if the right version of history is today finding its way, why is the Congress so upset?
Navika, good evening to you and to my very eminent fellow panelists. A couple of short points to answer your question. I think it is a very important debate to have because I remember George Orwell's famous quote that those who control the present control the past, and those who control the past control the future. And that was a chilling statement from the man who wrote 1984 and warning societies of authoritarianism and thereafter fascism. And when you talk about changing textbooks, it's basically a fascist project. Now, I'm not going to, however, completely condemn the attempt by certain historians, clearly right-leaning to look at history from a different perspective. Traditionally, as a student of history, I can tell you that while there is one history, different ideological thoughts interpret that according to their own mutual convenience. Both parties, in my opinion, are probably guilty. One for probably overplaying the successful art, culture, and the traditions of music, etc. And the other who are only looking at the horrific acts that were perpetrated, which also cannot be denied. Now, here is the truth. The truth is that the reason why these conversations are becoming very acerbic and in a great number of ways very polarizing is because of the current political environment that you have in our country. And I'll give you 3 short examples, and then I would love to hear what my good friend Sudhanshu ji has to say. Number 1, in the political science book of the NCERT, there is a blatant attempt made, and I have read these reports very carefully, to dilute the opposition of Gandhiji to what he saw then as the rising threat of Hindutva extremism. This was Gandhiji's fears, and these have either been diluted or edited from the political science books. I would like Sudhanshu ji at some point when I'm done in 30 seconds to tell me why would you do that? Secondly, the ideological predilections or the passions of Mr. Nathuram Godse, the assassin of Gandhiji, has been obliterated. There's not even much conversation on it. Why is that happening, Sudhanshu ji? Sudhanshu ji, my third question to you. The Taj Mahal attracts 6 million tourists in India. I mean, the footfalls may have gone up since I saw the data the last time. You have members of your own party, by the way, who actually say that this was a construct of traitors. I know you'll find some way to even justify this. But you have even had people from the right wing, which are part of your Sangh Parivar, say that this was wrongfully made on a Hindu temple, which the archaeological survey has rebuked. So why are you in this game of spreading false narratives, Sudhanshu ji? This is a matter of concern. And I'm not getting into the fact that you and I are from opposing camps. It is about misleading future generations that we should worry about. There's also been an attempt to not talk about
the selectivity so evident, Sanjay Jha, because I asked you the questions on why Akbar was the great as painted by the Congress regime. Your response was on Godse. Your response was completely different.
I answered.
And the selectivity is exactly what we are trying to address. And may I tell you, when you talk about Shah Jahan and Taj Mahal, in the NCERT books, which is the topic of debate today, Taj Mahal and its the world-renowned architecture that was displayed by Shah Jahan has been said as such without any reference to a temple which is supposed to be present but not scientifically proven yet. No reference to that. Maybe you could give kudos to the NCERT book writers and the government for not falling prey to an agenda and sticking to the facts. But Sudhanshu Trivedi, facts dikhte kahan hai? They can't see the facts. They only display selectivity. Isn't it right?
I would like to quote Nobel laureate V.S. Naipaul has written a book, India, a Wounded Civilization, in which he has categorically said that India is the only country in the world which authorizes others to write their own history, which doesn't consider itself history of its as authentic, history of invaders as authentic. Can you show, Mr. Sanjay Jha, any British man who says that the Britisher who has written the British history is not authentic, it is the French who will decide? Can you tell a Frenchman who can say the Germans will decide that what French history was there? On the contrary, in India, we are the only country which says कि साहब जो foreigners ने लिखा, चलिए foreigners में there are n number of foreigners who has written a very elaborate description about India's positive things. Megasthenes in his Indica, that 4th century before Christ, he has mentioned that in India there are 7 groups of people. There is no discrimination like the society of Greece. That should not be mentioned. 3 Chinese are Faiyan, Ved Song, Itzing. पॉजिटिव लिखा नहीं दिखाना है, मार्को पोलो नहीं दिखाना है, रशियन राइटर निकितिन नहीं बताना है, इटालियन आया नहीं बताना है, विजयनगर एम्पायर के बारे में मनुची ने लिखा नहीं बताना है। किसका बताना है? अंग्रेज और मुगल। वी वर टीचिंग द हिस्ट्री ऑफ लूटर्स एंड प्लंडरर्स। दिस इज द एगोनी ऑफ द सिचुएशन। एंड वी एस नायपॉल हैज ऑल्सो रिटन अ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट थिंग कि दुनिया में कहीं भी लड़ाई होती है दो राजाओं के बीच में, हारे जीते चाहे कोई, उन देश उनमें से किसी एक को ही महान मानता है। उसने कहा यह बहुत आश्चर्य की बात है, इन इंडिया अकबर इज ग्रेट इन ऑफिशियल गवर्नमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स एंड महाराणा प्रताप इज ग्रेट एमंग द पीपुल। ये दोनों एक साथ ग्रेट कैसे हो गए? ये सिर्फ इंडिया में ही हो सकता है। आई एम कोटिंग अ नोबल लॉरेट एंड श्री संजय झा, यू हैव यूज्ड अ वर्ड in the present politically polarizing atmosphere. It means you are considering that in today's India, some people are connecting themselves with the foreign invaders whose origin from Uzbek and Mongols. Babur's father was Uzbek and mother was Mongol. It means in the present political dispensation, there are people who are getting enraged, who are getting polarized, who are getting offended. Just 80 years back, what happened in Germany, if the Nazi film is made, anything about Nazis is said, none of the German feels offended. But why a section feels offended? On the authenticity, I would like to quote a single thing. अकबर के बारे में खुद आईने अकबरी में अबुल फजल ने लिखा है, और चित्तौड़ जीतने के बाद in 1576, in the official order of the Akbar, I am not quoting the book, it is like the government order today. You see that government order dated so and so. Akbar in Fatehnaमा चित्तौड़ says कि 30,000 लोगों को, सर कान खोल के सुनिएगा, 30,000 काफिरों के सर की मीनार बना के उस पे खड़े होके गाजी की उपाधि ली है। एंड द सेम थिंग वाज मेंशन्ड बाय आईने अकबरी, जिसके के आधार के ऊपर अकबर को ग्रेट भी बताया जाता है। पूरा फैक्ट क्यों नहीं बताया जाता? अगेन आई एम कोटिंग सर कर्नल जेम्स टॉड, हु हैज रिटन द बुक एनल्स एंड एंटिक्विटीज ऑफ राजस्थान। उसमें उसने लिखा है कि अकबर ने उस दिन आधा मन जनेऊ उतरवाया, 2980 kg ऑफ जनेऊ फ्रॉम ऑल द हिंदूज, दे वर मैसेकर्ड। फिर अकबर खुद लिखता है कि अलाउद्दीन खिलजी के चित्तौड़ इन्वेजन के बाद भी जो जैन और हिंदू मंदिर बच गए थे उनको भी डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया गया है। कितनी बड़ी मैंने खिदमत की है, बट दैट इज कंसीडर्ड ग्रेट। तो सर इसीलिए मुझे याद आता है अटल जी की कविता की वो पंक्ति कि मैं वीर पुत्र मेरी जननी के जगती में जौहर अपार। पूछो अकबर के पुत्रों से का याद उन्हें मीना बाजार। उस अकबर और जोधा की स्टोरी सुनाते हैं जिसके हरम में हजारों औरतें थी, जो मीना बाजार में बाजार लगाता था, जिस औरत की तरफ आग कर दिया वो उसकी हो गई, नहीं तो उसके लोगों को मरवा दिया जाता था। तो उन्होंने कहा पूछो अकबर के पुत्रों से क्या याद उन्हें मीना बाजार, क्या याद उन्हें चित्तौड़ दुर्ग में जलने वाली आग प्रखर, जब हाय सहस्त्रों माताएं तिल तिल जलकर हो गई अमर। वो बुझने वाली आग नहीं, रग रग में इससे सजोए हूं, यदि फूट उठे विप्लव लेकर कभी आग तो क्या विस्मय, हिंदू तन मन हिंदू जीवन, रग रग हिंदू मेरा परिचय। सर इसीलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं, अगेन आई वुड लाइक टू कोट वन मोर थिंग। एनसीईआरटी में हम सब ने पढ़ा है नाविका जी कि कुतुबुद्दीन ऐबक ने कुतुब मीनार बनवाई। अ प्रोफेसर फ्रॉम चंडीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी हैज लॉस्ट एन आरटीआई इनकी गवर्नमेंट के समय में कि व्हाट इज द बेसिस ऑन विच एनसीईआरटी हैज रिटन, व्हाट इज द प्राइमरी प्रूफ, देयर ऑफिशियल रिप्लाईज दे आर हैविंग नो प्रूफ, इट इज जस्ट ए बिलीव कि कुतुब मीनार कुतुबुद्दीन ऐबक ने बनवाई। सर अपने यहां तो बांस की मीनार नहीं बना पाए, यहां कुतुब मीनार बनवा दी। ऑन ताजमहल आई वुड लाइक टू से, झा साहब आप तो बड़े समझदार हैं, जो भी ताजमहल देखने गए होंगे उनको गाइड ने बताया होगा सच आर्किटेक्चर एक्सीलेंस, ये नदी के किनारे है, अगर कभी जमुना में बाढ़ आ गई तो क्या होगा, ये डूब जाएगा। पर उससे डूबने से बचने के लिए उसका जो बेस है उसमें एबोनी वुड लगी है, एबोनी वुड की वजह से वो डूबेगा नहीं, वो प्लेटफॉर्म के रूप में तैरता रहेगा। एंड द एबोनी वुड इज द ओनली वुड विच आफ्टर एब्जॉर्बिंग दी वाटर इट बिकम्स मोर स्ट्रांग। पर आपको पता है एबोनी वुड कहां पाई जाती है? सिर्फ ट्रॉपिकल रीजन में, एरिड रीजन में। एनीबडी कैन गो एंड चेक। भाई यार रेगिस्तान में एबोनी वुड कहां से आई? यहां एक बूंद पानी नहीं बरसता था, वहां बाढ़ से बचने की टेक्नोलॉजी पता थी। सर फाइनली मैं कहना चाहूंगा द ब्रिटिश कॉलोनियल हैंगओवर is gradually going out decade by decade. British Viceroy remained as Governor General till 1948. British Army Chief remained in India's Army Chief till 49. British Air Force Chief Gerald Gibbs remained till 54. British Navy Chief remained till 58, Stephen Carlisle. George V की मूर्ति रही 68 तक. 77 तक all India services in English. 97 तक इंडिया का जो बजट आता था till 5 PM in the morning, because as per the London time it was 11:30. Now gradually the things are going on in the true explicit colors with a proper concrete evidence. तो इसे मैं कहना चाहता हूं डेमोक्रेसी इंटेलेक्चुअल इस्टेब्लिशमेंट में आ रही है, विच इज हर्टनिंग द फ्यूडलिस्टिक हेगेमोनी विच दे वर ट्राइंग टू पुट फोर्थ, जिसे सुषमा स्वराज जी ने कहा था 1996 में 13 दिन की सरकार के समय में कि लुटियस जोन में आप तब तक इंटेलेक्चुअल नहीं माने जा सकते जब तक आप अपने भारतीय होने पे इंफीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स और हिंदू होने पे शर्म का अनुभव ना करें. अब वो शर्म का अनुभव की जो कवर अप था वो now it is being removed. This is the problem.
Sanjay Jha, you can't deny any of these facts. The Fatehnaama talks about the bloodthirsty, and this is a translation, and Akbar said this: we, as far as it is within our power, remain busy in jihad. We have succeeded in occupying a number of forts, towns belonging to infidels, and have established Islam there. With the help of our bloodthirsty sword, we have erased the signs of infidelity from their minds and have destroyed temples in those places and all over Hindustan. This was never taught in textbooks, Sanjay Jha. So who's guilty today?
Well, Navika, I'm glad you're asking me that. I'll take 30 seconds to respond to both your question and to some of the points that Sudhanshu ji has made. Firstly, I think let's all of us have a very mature conversation today. No political leader in history or in current times is an undiluted, unalloyed genius and a model of perfection. All leaders have dark sides. All leaders have perpetuated things they could have done without. And that is a reality that we need to be reconciled to, that is applicable to even Akbar, that's applicable to the leaders who followed him, not just Mughals, but even otherwise. Now, here is the point. Sudhanshu ji mentioned about the British. Sudhanshu ji, the irony is that you are the ones who are most inspired by the British to follow the policy of divide and rule. Recently, your great Mr. Amit Shah made a statement that if we speak English, we'll soon feel ashamed of ourselves. मैं आपको इतना ही request करूंगा that India has to look forward, sir. It can't be so regressive. The world is moving forward. You're taking us back into the past that, frankly speaking, is going to be injurious.
I don't understand where that argument comes from.
No, it is.
Was history not taught in schools before this? Is this the first time that history is being taught, and we are talking about the NCERT books? I want to ask Anwar Pasha Sahab, ये history पहली बार पढ़ाई जा रही है? Why is this question coming up? You're a professor. Has history not been taught in the past? Is this the first time? But we were told Akbar was the great. Nobody told us that his bloodthirsty sword actually destroyed temples and treated those who were Hindus as kafirs and killed 30,000 of them in Chittorgarh. Why was this not said? Why was Akbar the Great if he was killing Indians and Hindus specifically?
Navika, this is chronicled in the history books I read, by the way. It is already there.
Navika ji.
It's a question of what magnitude did it have.
Navika ji.
Not in textbooks, Sanjay Jha. I don't know which schools you went to. I don't know. NCERT did not have this. I have not only studied history in my time, my children, I have taught my children as well. And please go back and look at the NCERT books which are government controlled. Anwar Pasha ji.
Navika ji, I'm very thankful to you and Sudhanshu ji, because the kind of narrative both of you were sharing, I'm really enlightened to be very, I think, from this narrative of yours and the sermon of, I think, uninterrupted, at least 10 10 minutes by the Sudhanshu ji. And I'm really delighted to know that there is no difference between imagination and history. For BJP, imagination is history and history is imagination. This is what the British wanted. The British wanted that the Indians should fight. There should be hatred between the Indians, various sections of the communities in India. There should be a divide between Muslims and Hindus. This was the policy of British. And the same policy is being followed by the RSS and BJP today. There is no difference between the British approach towards history and the RSS approach towards history. If you go through the history, you will find that how the things happened in past. Our historians like Romila Thapar, Harmansh Mukhia, Sumit Sarkar, D.N. Jha, all these world-renowned historians, they have written the history, they are all false history. Now you want to say that the history that was being taught to our children, to our young generation, was a false history. Because that history united the Indians. That history gave the sense of integrity. That history gave the sense of nationhood. That gave the sense of unity. But that is not acceptable to you. Because you believe in divisive policy, the divisive ideology.
Akbar was uniting India. Are you saying Babur was uniting India? Are you saying Aurangzeb was uniting India?
Obviously.
I'm appalled. What are you saying? History was uniting India? Anand Ranganathan? Really? And that's exactly the point I'm making. He names Romila Thapar. Was she uniting India by this interpretation of history? Akbar the Great?
Navika, I'm absolutely shocked by my good friend Professor Pasha.
Sahab is a great historian.
I did not, Pasha Sahab, I did not interrupt you. Please do not interrupt me. Have the patience to have the patience to listen.
Just I want to
Don't
say,
be so.
just I
अभी
want
तो
to
शुरू भी
say,
नहीं हुआ है. अभी
you
से
are
काहे काँप रहे
not a
हैं?
scientist. You are a
Pasha
historian.
साहब, अभी
You are a
से
historian. Just I
Navika,
want to say, you are not a
Navika,
scientist.
अभी से क्यों
You are a
काँपने
historian.
लगे?
And you will
अभी से
decide,
पत्ते की तरह क्यों
and
हिल
you
रहे
will
हैं?
give your judgment
dispute my
on Romila
facts.
Thapar. You will give
Navika,
judgment on Romila Thapar.
Navika,
What
are you
Romila
enjoying
Thapar
this?
has written, you will give judgment over it.
You have been giving a
Are you
judgment on
historian?
Meenakshi Jain. Why can't he give
are
a
you
judgment
capable
on
of doing
Romila
this?
Thapar? You have your view, he has his view, and everybody's view in this country and the constitution, everybody is free to air their view. So Anand Ranganathan, go ahead.
नहीं अभी तो मैं शुरू भी नहीं हुआ नाविका अभी से प्रोफेसर साहब क्यों कांप रहे हैं पत्ते की तरह द पॉइंट इज पीपल हु आर स्केर्ड ऑफ पुटिंग द ट्रूथ ऑन द टेबल they worry about who puts the truth they don't worry about the truth being put. Navika, I can't continue like this because he is come prepared he knew he's going to be rattled his lies are going to be exposed तो ये अभी से शुरू हो गए इतना मत कांपिए ट्यूनिंग फोर्क की तरह वाइब्रेट करने लग गए मुझे यहां तक आ रही है फ्रीक्वेंसी आपकी नाविका कैन आई प्लीज कंटिन्यू
You want to say that Bipin Chandra is liar? You want to say that Sumit Sarkar is liar? You want to say that?
But he's not saying that. He's making his own point. Anwar Pasha, why are you heckling him?
Yeah, he's saying that.
No, he's not saying that. आप सुन कहाँ रहे हैं? आपका incoming band है, outgoing free है.
Sumit Sarkar is liar. Bipin Chandra is liar. You will
That's not what he's saying. Anwar Pasha ji, please hold on. I'm lowering your fader, Anand Ranganathan.
थैंक यू नाविका इतना डर तो पाकिस्तान को भी नहीं था इंडिया से जितना मुनीर नो बट एनीवे लुक ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट सम रोग हिस्टोरियन लाइक डीएन झा हु क्लेम दैट नालंदा वाज बर्न्ड नॉट बाय बख्तियार बट वाज बर्न्ड बाय 2 हिंदू मंक्स ये इनकी हिस्ट्री है इनकी हिस्ट्री इरफान हबीब से शुरू होती है रोमिला थापर पे खत्म होती है जो कि कह रहे थे कि राम जन्म भूमि का मंदिर है डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं किया गया बाबरी मस्जिद के नीचे हिंदू टेंपल था ही नहीं और उसके बाद क्या निकला सुप्रीम कोर्ट और एएसआई इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तो लेट्स नॉट गो बाय दिस ये लोग फ्रॉड्स हैं डोंट आस्क हाउ दीज गाइज बिकेम फ्रॉड्स आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन द टॉपिक राइट नाउ which is very important and thank you for conducting and I also want to appreciate the remarks of Mr. Sanjay Jha. For a change, he said, not for a change, I beg your pardon, but he's made some great points. I want to, in the end, if I get 10 seconds to add to what excellent points he made, but yes, have you ever wondered, Navika, this simple thing, Indian Christians never eulogize barbarian mass murderers like General Dyer or Lord Canning. They don't protest when truth is told about the evil British Empire. But why do Indian Muslims eulogize barbarians, mass murderers like Babur and Aurangzeb? Why do they protest when the truth is told about the evil Mughal Empire? Think about it. That is the question that must be asked, but not answered, because that would make people in this country uncomfortable. The fact is, our textbooks must tell the truth about Mughal barbarians, but not to illuminate Muslims, but to illuminate Hindus. Navika, nations weaken not because of their past, but rather by how they are taught it. And for 75 years, we've been taught to forget historical injustices. We've been taught to eulogize genocidal mass murderers. And so India is a nation that glorifies self-loathing and self-flagellation in equal measure. A nation where people still go and pray at the grave of Aurangzeb, who imposed tax only on non-Muslims, beheaded Guru Tegh Bahadur, entombed Shahzadas alive, decapitated Sambhaji Maharaj, demolished Kashi Vishwanath, and murdered 4.6 million Hindus. Aurangzeb and Babur were Baghdadi and Bin Laden 350 years before ISIS and Al-Qaeda. There is no difference between Aurangzeb apologists and Holocaust deniers. Twisted minds in need of medical intervention, but it's not the fault of these demented brainwashed zombies, Navika. No, it is our fault. It is the fault of what our school textbooks taught them. Tell me, is there a Hitler Road in Tel Aviv? Another canard, just 30 seconds, spread by WhatsApp Islamist historians and their white masters, is that India prospered economically during the Mughal period. This is a blatant lie, disproved by data provided by historians and economists such as Madison, Broadberry and Custodis. India's share of world GDP actually declined after 300 years of Mughal rule, from 25% in 1500 to 16% in 1800. The GDP per capita also either declined or remained stagnant all through at $550 at 1990 pegging. But the inequality steadily worsened. Of total state revenue, 1/4 was the emperor's personal property, 1/3 went to maintaining the courts, and only 600 nobles ever controlled 60% of total revenue. You call this prosperity?
Absolutely. And Anwar Pasha says the Mughals were uniting India. May I tell you that Babur, when the army was camped at Ko Bacha in 1527, they were ordered to erect a tower of skulls. काफिरों के स्कल्स का टावर बनाया गया था, और आप कह रहे हैं कि वो यूनाइट कर रहे थे भारत को. लेकिन वारिस पठान साहब, अब आपसे मैं क्या पूछूं, आर यू अ सेक्युलर और नॉट? बिकॉज everybody's problem is the Bihar election, and Bihar election में आपको तो डिक्लेयर कर दिया है कि आप नॉन सेक्युलर हैं, so you cannot be part of the club of the महागठबंधन. तो अब आप मुगलों के बारे में कुछ कहेंगे तो कांग्रेस आपसे खफा हो जाएगी. I want to understand, is there only a syllabus of votes that takes place, or is there a syllabus beyond votes that political parties are worried about? Pasha साहब कहां जा रहे हैं?
Well, Navika, history is being rewritten not to educate but to divide and to spread hatred. This is the reality. That's why I say stop communalizing textbooks, stop poisoning young minds. We are in 2025, not in 1600. And now my good friend Sudhanshu Trivedi gave a lecture of 15 minutes, which we are all hearing patiently. Okay, let him speak whatever he wants to, because you give him an ample opportunity. Anand, my good friend, also spoke about Aine Akbari. In Aine Akbari, Anand, you know, Akbar ruled for 49 years and 8 months. And you are quoting only one thing, that he killed 30,000 people. See, what he must have killed it, I don't say, I am not a historian. But here the question.
पठान साहब लाइव झूठ बोल
मैं
रहे हैं.
आपको बता रहा हूं, आईने अकबरी का तो कोट किया सुधांशु त्रिवेदी ने. आईने अकबरी को कोट किया, आपने कोट किया, सुधांशु त्रिवेदी ने कोट किया. सुधांशु त्रिवेदी और आपका मैंने बताया, तो सुधांशु त्रिवेदी, अच्छा सुनो, सुधांशु त्रिवेदी ने आईने अकबरी को कोट किया, तो उसमें लिखा है कि बाबर ने एबॉलिश कर दिया था जजिया. क्यों? बिकॉज इट वॉज डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी. अब ये क्या दिखाना चाह रहे हैं? इट वॉज टू कन्वर्ट. It was because of the converting, the incentive to convert was there. That is why this is false. NCERT को सच्चाई बताना चाहिए. Let them speak the truth and only the truth, because they are young boys. Don't polarize. See, I was very, very quiet and silent, Anand. This was not expected from you, my friend. I'll send you one biryani. Just keep silent, please.
And I apologize. Please continue.
The second, okay. So there are certain facts which are distorted in the NCERT. If they want to give some good lessons, they should teach them. History cannot be rewritten, Navika. And now the second point which I want to argue, rather than going into that with the topic of the historian, you said that we secular hi nahi rahe. Now earlier, when for 12 years we were with the UPA, we were very much secular. We were the bestest of them. We were very good people. Revant Reddy of Hyderabad is the chief minister from the Congress government. He praises Asad Owaisi every day. He praises our party every day, saying that we do very good work. We are secular people. We are helping people from all the communities. No issues. Asad Owaisi was sent by Indian government abroad. And he exposed Pakistan in such a way that everybody in India, they applaud, they said, okay, very nice work done by Asad Owaisi. He is the most secular person, most patriotic person.
Is that why they are scared of you? Because you took India's flag abroad?
Now, yes, I'm coming to that. Now, when the time of election comes and we say that our intention and aim is to ensure that the BJP and the India are defeated, let's contest together. Let us see that those secular votes are divided. So our party president from Bihar wrote a letter to the RJD. They have not replied. Their spokesperson are coming before the channel saying that we have mana kar diya, ye kar diya. So our party will be contesting. In fact, our party president of Bihar is also in talking terms with the third front. We might form a third front and contest the election. But we will surely contest the Bihar election, whether they call us secular, democratic.
You can do that, but Akbar the Great to Congress ke hain. Sudhanshu Trivedi, I give you the last word. Is the only issue that they are worried about is their syllabus of votes? Because they accuse you that the syllabus has been changed because there is Bihar elections and they have their eyes only on Bihar elections. Is that why Akbar bhi great hai, Aurangzeb bhi great hai, Babar bhi great hai?
Akbar is great.
Navika ji, it is too little and it is a scar on India's Atma if somebody tries to say it is just for the sake of election or other. ये भारत की अस्मिता की बात है. और सुनिए, देखिए वैसे एक ही प्रोफेसर साहब थे जो केवल इमेजिनरी बातें करके विदाउट एनी कोट चले गए. और वारिस पठान साहब, आपने कहा आईने अकबरी के, तो और भी कोट कर देता हूं. आईने अकबरी में लिखा है कि अकबर ने कहा कि मैंने इस्लाम की बहुत बड़ी खिदमत की है, तो मैंने गाजी की उपाधि तब ली है चूंकि मुझे काफिरों के ऊपर मैंने ये किया. सुनिए दूसरा, अबुल फजल खुद लिखता है बादशाह सलामत की मेरे ऊपर इतनी कृपा है. अब सुनिए कितनी बड़ी गप है. 20 किलो गोश्त खाता हूं रोज. सुनिए
बराबर है ना
भाई, आप बीच में फिर बोलने लगे. चलो इसका मतलब जजिया लगता था ना.
उसने राजपूतों को नजदीक लाया. अकबर ने सबको एक साथ लाने की बात किया.
बीच में
राजपूतों को बहुत बाद में नजदीक लाया. पहले चित्तौड़गढ़ पढ़ लीजिए.
ये सेलेक्टिव बोल रहे हैं. हाँ, बता रहा हूं इनको, इसलिए कि अकबर को इस बात का पता चल गया था कि वो हिंदू राजाओं से लड़ नहीं सकता, राजपूत राजाओं से. चित्तौड़ के बाद उसकी हालत खराब हो गई थी. दैट्स वाई एज ए पार्ट ऑफ टैक्टिक्स ही ट्राइड टू डू दैट. और इन्होंने इसके द्वारा ये एक्सेप्ट कर लिया कि बाबर से लेके, हुमायूं से लेके, तुगलक से लेके, गजनी से लेके सब ये टैक्स लगाते थे. और इन्होंने अलाउद्दीन, क्या तरीका है डिबेट करने का.
अरे हर राजा ने जंग.
नाविका जी, जो बात आनंद रंगनाथन वो कह रहे थे, इनमें से किसी के पास फैक्ट नहीं. जस्ट आई विल लाइक टू कोट. भाई क्या तरीका है डिस्टर्ब करने का. मुझे पता वारिस पठान साहब, जब फैक्ट नहीं होते तो डिस्टर्ब करने के अलावा कोई तरीका नहीं रहता है. नाउ आई वांट टू जस्ट कोट वन थिंग. यस, विपिन चंद्रा के इन्होंने कहा, विपिन चंद्रा ने अपनी किताब में भगत सिंह जी को टेररिस्ट लिखा है, रिवोल्यूशनरी टेररिस्ट. In 2016, when BJP raised this issue in Parliament, you know what was the reply? कि next edition में हमने हटा दिया है. चंद्रशेखर आजाद, भगत सिंह, राजगुरु सुखदेव और भगत सिंह जी को ये रिवोल्यूशनरी टेररिस्ट लिखने वाले. और ये जो 4 ग्रेट्स हैं, इरफान हबीब, DN झा, RS शर्मा, रोमिला थापर, ये सब राम मंदिर में बाबरी मस्जिद की तरफ से थे. ये अपीयर नहीं हुए कभी कोर्ट में. इनके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स गए और 30 सितंबर 2010 को लखनऊ बेंच ऑफ इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट का जजमेंट पढ़ लीजिए. उन्होंने इन लोगों की ऐसी खिल्ली उड़ाई है. इन लोगों ने लिखा कि इनके पास ना कोई आर्कियोलॉजिकल एविडेंस है, ना कोई लिटरेरी एविडेंस है, ना इनको संस्कृत आती थी, ज्यादातर लोगों को ना फारसी आती थी. पूछा उनसे कोर्ट ने कि आप किस बेस के ऊपर आके खड़े हो गए. और लास्ट में मैं लोगों से कहना चाहता हूं, ये कह रहे हैं अकबर ने ऐसा वैसा. 3 हिंदू एम्पायर्स रहे आफ्टर द एडवेंट ऑफ इस्लाम इन इंडिया। एक विजयनगर एम्पायर साउथ में, सेकंड छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज का एम्पायर, जो कि पेशवाई टाइम में तो जाकर हिंदू पद पातशाही के टाइम में फ्रॉम लाहौर टू कर्नाटक, तीसरा महाराजा रणजीत सिंह, और मैं फिर कह रहा हूं महाराजा रणजीत सिंह के एम्पायर को मुसलमानों ने हिंदू एम्पायर ही लिखा है, आज की डेट में सिक्का जो करें। इन तीनों में कभी मस्जिदें तोड़ी गई हो तो बता दो मेरे भाई, कभी महिलाओं के साथ अपमान हुआ हो तो बता दो
that
मेरे
is
भाई।
the point. That is the point. A selective interpretation of history that has been given to generations. Today, has it been corrected? And the NCERT books actually goes out to say the tapestry of the past chapters in this textbook, which include passages on warfare and instances of cruelty or brutality. While those happenings cannot be erased or denied, it would be wrong to hold anyone today responsible for them. It, according to me, is a very responsible sentence that is written in the beginning of the NCERT book, a note on history's darker period. And ladies and gentlemen, we ask this question to people of India. NCERT revises syllabus. Was this teaching the other side of the brutality of Mughals? Was this necessary? Yes, say 85% of the people who responded. No, say 15%. 85% believe that the correct perspective was required because this country must know the truth, not the interpretation of the truth that was given to us for the last 70 years. And may I say that when everybody talks about historians, read Discovery of India and look at how Akbar was made just so great. Never any mention of Chittorgarh, the massacre of 30,000 people. Nobody ever told you about the towers of skulls that were made by Babur. And when these Mughals came in, did they come in to unite India? Or did they come in with their intention of plundering India and expansionism of their empire? Were they here to really work for India? Really? And if talking about Mughals and showing their reality today is a Hindu versus Muslim debate, then talking about the British Empire would become a Christian versus the rest debate? Is that how we must look at history? Ladies and gentlemen, I leave that judgment to you. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.